evening. Welcome to the Grants Advisory Commission meeting. I'd like to ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Acosta, absent. Commissioner Carroll? Here. Chair Gibson?
Here.
Commissioner Haywood? Here. Commissioner Kriz?
Here.
Commissioner Lung? Vice Chair Perez?
Here.
And Commissioner Reed? Here.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Please stand with me to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All you see is my bald spot up there. Look at that, that's horrible, isn't it?
There you go. There you go.
At this point in the agenda, we'd like to open up for public comment. This would be for anything that isn't already on the agenda. It'll all be on the agenda then. We're all in person, right? No email or calls, so. Is it okay to close? So we'd like to close the public comment and move on to the minutes from last time. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Does anybody have any, commissioners have any comments or corrections or edits to what staff has provided?
I have just a minor edit under 6.4, second sentence. Could we change appointed to nominated? Nominated? So, because I don't really, there's not really an appointment power there. Thank you.
So for all the appoints you want nominated,
That one, I think, is the only one. We can't really appoint. We all vote on those positions, so,
Thank you.
thanks.
anybody have any other edits? If not, may I have a motion to approve with the edit from Commissioner Carroll?
Commissioner Perez, I'll make a motion to approve with the edits.
Commissioner Carroll, seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So welcome, everybody in the audience. We've got some presentations from some of our recipients of our Citizens Fund, Benefit Fund and Reach Fund. And I've got a list, and I'm going to call you guys up kind of in the order the list was given to me, if that's okay. All right. And we do have one group that was going to speak, the Placer County Law Enforcement Chaplaincy. Unfortunately, they got called to a fire, so sadly, they're not going to be here tonight. So hope they're safe and well. So first, we've got Lighthouse Counseling. They provide counseling services for Roseville residents and families.
Excuse me. Good evening. My name is Gary McDonald. I'm the Executive Director of Lighthouse Counseling and Family Resource Center, and I believe I'm one of your newest residents. We just moved to Roseville. Our first night in Roseville was last night. So anyway, it's good to be a Roseville resident. So thank you. Appreciate that, thank you. So I pulled out my agenda instead of the notes. So I put together, this is an opportunity that, as I understand it, where we can present our gratitude and give you a little bit of background on how we use your money. So I put together a couple of words together. So how do you begin to thank a funder for saving a child's life? Because that is what you've done by funding our initiative, Preventing ACEs in the Age of COVID. During the COVID pandemic, we did not stop providing services. Actually, we did the opposite. We provided significantly more services. We opened up new offices in Roseville and Auburn, much in part because of you. Today, we are serving more people than ever. We are serving more families than ever. we are serving more children than ever. Sadly, the children that are receiving Lighthouse Counseling has seen more than their share of trauma, anxiety, and depression. More children have witnessed family violence in their home. More children have had the structure in their lives decimated by the pandemic. Some have been physically abused or neglected as a result of the pandemic. At Lighthouse, we have seen a 40% increase in suicidal ideation in children as a way to respond to their trauma. We are seeing more families with a child with a failed suicide attempt than any previous point in the history of Lighthouse. To better meet the increasing need for counseling, we expanded our evening hours. We hired more staff. Because of generous funders like you, we are now looking to open a Rockland location, which would be our 4th location. We continue to be one of the most efficient nonprofits in the United States. For the past 3 years, for every dollar we spent, 96 cents went to programs. The average is about 80 to 81 cents for nonprofits. For 3 years, we've been at 96 cents. Lastly, we have been named Nonprofit of the Year by various entities for the past 6 years in a row. In 2021, we were named California Nonprofit of the Year, representing District 6, Kevin Kiley's district. We are successful because of individuals, corporations, foundations, and volunteers like you that serve on grant funding committees that help nonprofits like the ones represented in this room. But if you remember anything of what I've said tonight, please remember this. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that a child is alive today because of a faith that you put in Lighthouse to provide the services to the children that need it. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Gary, and welcome to Roseville. Now, can we hear from Keaton's Child Cancer Alliance?
I did bring some items for you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Alonzo, and I'm honored to be the Executive Director for Keaton's Child Cancer Alliance. It's truly a pleasure to be here this evening to extend our gratitude, and also special because we're in the month of September, which is National Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the City of Roseville and you all, the Grants Commission Council, for continuing to make pediatric cancer a funding priority through your allocations to Keaton's Child Cancer Alliance. I'd like to begin with a special thank you from one of our very own kiddos and families whose lives you have impacted. One of the saddest and most fearful moments in our lives was when we were told our 7-month-old boy had leukemia. It was heartbreaking. Each day offered a different challenge. Some days were better than others. In a span of 2 years, he had to undergo multiple chemo cycles, infections, 2 relapses, a stem cell transplant, and possibly a second stem cell transplant. Our little Joaquin has been in and out of the hospital. Recently, we found out that he relapsed again and will be needing yet another stem cell transplant. His future is uncertain. Each day we get to spend with him is a blessing. We cherish it. Thank you for helping us make those days more special with him by your funding and support. During these hard times, we've received a lot of help. The love and care we've received from foundations like Keaton's and their grantors have helped us tremendously. Thank you for reminding us that we are not in the fight alone against leukemia. We truly appreciate it. You make a big difference in our lives, and that string of kindness will forever tie us together. Please keep our little boy in your prayers. We are eternally grateful. with much love and respect, little Joaquin and his family. That's just one child of hundreds that your support has been able to touch through our program services. In the midst of the pandemic and beyond, we pressed in when the families needed us the most and were able to double the impact that we had done in previous years, again, thanks through your support. In fact, we were able to touch 411 pediatric cancer patients, which encompassed 410 families, as we have 2 families that have twins and brothers fighting simultaneously against cancer. That surmounted to nearly 1,800 individuals whose lives you have touched through our Family Navigator programs. We've been able to create 2 brand new programs through the funding support as well. One of them, the Keaton's Teen Alliance. This is a program formed by teens for teens to provide and create fun, therapeutic activities and support to help these children cope with this life-changing experience that only they understand and have experienced. Also, our Thriving Together program is already showing high success. This program will help mitigate the mental health and trauma experiences that the families have already experienced and unfortunately will continue to experience. All of this has been made possible thanks to you. Just this year alone, we've already touched over 500 children and are en route to support nearly 600 by the end of the year. The increased demand for our services is greater than ever, and having your support truly makes a difference in these families' lives and helps support us to meet those increased demands as well. As you heard from Joaquin's family, this is a life-changing experience that no one could ever prepare for or ever possibly imagine. And just knowing that they are not alone in this journey makes a huge difference. So thank you for coming alongside Keaton's Child Cancer Alliance. Thank you for reminding the families that they are not alone in this journey. And thanks to you, no child in Roseville, in Placer County, and beyond will have to undergo this experience alone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Child Advocates of Placer County.
You've had it. Thank you.
Thank you. I made it easy.
Thank you.
I'm Don Kleinfelder. I'm the Executive Director of Child Advocates of Placer County.
And my name is Katja Poyman. I'm the Director of Family Services for Child Advocates.
And we thank you for the opportunity to come today and for all the support you've shown us over the years. Child Advocates of Placer County was formed in 2004 to create the Court-Appointed Special Advocate, or CASA program, for our juvenile courts. CASAs are basically community members who go through our training, and then they are assigned through a court order, once they finish their training, to advocate on behalf of foster youth. And somewhere around 2015, although we started in 2004, by 2015, we were serving about 90% of all of the foster youth in Placer County. And so at that time, we decided, well, we could also start serving kids in delinquency court. And so now we're doing that, serving roughly 60% of the kids in delinquency court, again, by giving them a CASA volunteer who can meet with them, who can interview with their court order, can interview parties to the action, and provide a court report to the judge that says 2 things. This is what's going on in the child's life, and this is what the child wants to have happen. 3 things, I guess, actually. And this is what I think is in the child's best interest. And so we've been doing that for a long time. It's been a very successful program. But in 2010, one of our case supervisors, Lori Terrell, she and her husband had been emergency foster parents for about 72 infants. And you get that infant for 3 months while the mom tries to get her act together. Typically, it's a young mom. And then she would hand the infant back, and she felt like, this infant's going to end up back in foster care a couple years down the road, because this mom is like a deer in the headlights, you know. And she thought, if I could just go home for a couple hours a week, I could teach her basically how to be a mom. And that's what launched our Family Mentor program. And that's what you have been funding along with our Prosper Placer program, which
Yes. So as Don said, we have those two programs. They are the family service side of what we do at Child Advocates. They all work with volunteers, and the family mentor is really struggling families. A mentor comes in, meets the family where they're at, which could be transitional housing, it could be treatment facility, or their home, and helps them with daily, life skills. So they can stay with this mentor together for 90 days. That's the minimum commitment, but oftentimes it goes on for a year or even 2 years. So after that, they have their life a little bit together, but we said we need to go alongside one a little bit longer, so we created Prosper Placer, which is really the next step, because now we meet in a group. We meet here at the First United Methodist Church in Roseville, and we have 2 churches in Auburn where we meet. So now the families commit to coming to a space, the volunteer come, they do that for 2 years. We provide a meal. Thank goodness after COVID we can meet again. It's such a huge difference. So we provide a meal, we have childcare, and we work on a curriculum. So these families set their own goals. They're called change leaders because they are really leading their change. We're not there to fix them. And the volunteers just on the sideline cheering for them and supporting them. So we really had so much success with families being with us for up to 3 years and providing that continuum of care. And just that support that they never had. It's really healthy relationships that they were all lacking. So the success rate is so high when a family goes through both programs. We haven't had them relapse. They stayed with their families. So it really proves that this is the way to go. And we had 71 parents go through the Family Mentor Program last year and 25 families that went through Prosper Placer. And during COVID, we really hope that we can have a broader impact. So we started a vaccination clinic here at the church as well. We do that once a month, and we do that with great partners, Health Education Council, the Placer Community Foundation, Placer People of Faith Together. So really a big group of people that come together once a month, provide COVID shots, flu shots, food. Always good to bring food when families are supposed to come, and some crafts for the kids. So really a safe family space where they can meet and get some resources. We had 18 partners show up. One of them was Lighthouse, who always supports those meetings, which is great. So just providing flu shots and resources and food. And there were lots of other things we wanted to provide. So we also have language services now at that church because we have Latino families that just can't fill out certain paperwork. So we have 2 staff members over there helping. And our goal is really to make that church, which is so greatly located in the heart of Roseville, to make that a family hub. So they can come, get tutoring, translation services, COVID shots, whatever that is. So that's our long-term goal, and we just got a grant from Union Pacific that will hopefully help with that. The last thing we also had was during COVID, we realized some of our families are not eligible for funding, so they're undocumented. So they worked at a restaurant, they didn't get a paycheck anymore because they closed because of COVID, so they couldn't pay their rent. So we had volunteers and churches come together. We had an emergency fund of $10,000, and we're able to help lots of families pay for their rent, pay for their medical. And emergencies continue to happen, if it's COVID or not. A mom has to stay home because the child is sick. Paycheck gets cut in half. So we still are using this emergency fund, and we're so grateful. But as Don said, the core of what we do is really bringing that volunteer together with a family in need or a child in need. And that healthy relationship, that connection is really what is healing. And at the last page, I just give you one story, and that's Sharon's story. And she comes from a long life of substance abuse, domestic violence. She has been incarcerated. 2 of her kids are with her mom. She came to us when she was pregnant with her 3rd child. She was at Acres of Hope, which is a great place. She didn't go through the whole program, which is never a good sign, but we gave her a family mentor, and that was a young mom she could relate to. And this mom helped her, do her first steps into life and find a job, find housing for her, and really help her and support her with this parenting. She stayed with a family mentor for 3 years, and then she came to Prosper Placer. And the next step was enrolling into college. So she's almost done with her college career. She found a job. She's parenting. She's trying to get the relationship back with her older kids, and these allies have been helping her. And she really has that network of support. The allies are coming by, that's our volunteers, we call them allies, to bring her vegetables from the garden, and they invite her for birthday parties, and they help her. So she's going through some legal things. So one son, he was an attorney, so they helped her with that. So it's really this getting to know people, having a network of people. And she's thriving. She's really coming from surviving to thriving, and this is with a network of support. And thank you all for helping us doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Sierra College Foundation?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sunbol Aliyabadi. I'm the Executive Director of Sierra College Foundation. I'm here to express my deepest and the most sincere gratitude on behalf of our Sierra College students, specifically our former foster youth. It's interesting to be able to present right after the beautiful work that CASA, Child Advocates, provides to our community. I'm here to take you down the memory lane a little bit. 2009, I came to you with an ask. I came to you with an idea. I came to you with a hope. We had students coming to our campus, we learned, who had just finished being a foster youth in a system. 18 years old, on their own, nowhere to go, no family, no support. The 3% of that population who lands on a college campus one of them lands on our campus here at Sierra College. This person, nothing to their name, no family, no one to support them. A bag full of garbage, bag full of their belonging. That's what they had. So the family of Sierra College became their family, became this individual's family. From that day, a group was born. That group, all they wanted to do was to support a population that has no one to advocate for them at that time. From there, they took them to their homes, they housed them, they bought them food, they bought them clothing, they offered them basic hygiene needs, anything that they might have needed very, very organically. They started supporting this population. I learned about that on campus, and I said, this cannot be. I know we can support this. We need to support this group. We need to help them. So I came to you with that idea. I came to the commissioners before you, and we wrote a small grant at that time, $9,000, which it was small, but it was mighty. That small grant of $9,000 allowed us to offer what we called a care pack filled with love. Now, love had different connotations. For this group, it was basic hygiene items, underwear, socks, deodorant, shampoo, you name it, school supplies, pencils, books, calculator, and food items. So that was the first basic care pack filled with love that we provided these students. We had no idea where this is going to go. Fast forward, we learned more and more about these population and what they need. We learned that they don't trust. They can't trust. They have been let down so many times. So the campus again came to rally behind them and create an environment for them that they felt welcome. They had one person to go to. That counselor was their person to go to. The face did not change because they couldn't trust a new person coming in. So the campus started a program which eventually, 5 years down the road after, it became a Guardian Scholar program. So what is a Guardian Scholar program? Our big boys, I call them our four-year colleges, they've had them for years. Community colleges, we never had them. A Guardian Scholar program is a program that offers a comprehensive support to emancipated youth, which means they offer them housing, they offer them transportation, they offer them food, they offer them whatever financial need that they might have, and most importantly, they offer them priority registration for their classes. And so Sierra College embarked on that. We said, we want to do this. This population deserves this. We need to do this. So our financial aid person, who has a heart of gold, presented to our legislatures on behalf of all community colleges in California. And again, Sierra was a trailblazer. We were able to get that Guardian Scholar title, if you will. But with that needed some help. And your grant, the grant that year after year you have offered us, has been a cornerstone of becoming a Guardian Scholar, because we told them we have this support, and from there we have received other supports from different funders. We had been, I can go as basic as folks knitting for us, knitting blankets, knitting hats, beanies, as they call them, and gloves, creating packages for this population that they've never had before. And when we give these items to them at a luncheon, normally COVID this happened and we couldn't do it for 2 years, but we did it in a drive-through matter, they felt like somebody cared for them. The items that they received from us meant a lot, but knowing that someone, total strangers, commissioners, other funders, individuals who knitted, cared enough for them as an individual, it really elevated their hope and goal. Our retention rate has increased to 79%. It's unheard of. When you look at that population and look at their record, it's just, if they're lucky, even if they show to classes. Our counselors, they hold their hands. Our counselors are there with them throughout their 2-year journey, sometimes 3 years journey with us. Then we hand them off to another Guardian Scholar program. We're lucky to have 2 of them in our region, Sac State and UC Davis. So the success story for this population is incredible. With the Guardian Scholar program, we had to offer them, as I said, a comprehensive wraparound services. Registration. Sierra College offers them priority registration now. So no student is left behind. If they want a class, they'll get the class. If they need tutoring, they get tutoring. Housing was an issue. As we all know, housing is incredibly expensive. So we have dorms. We're lucky to have dorms. We have allocated 5 beds for those who really don't have any place to go. There are times that holidays comes and our dorms are closed. So we have contract with some of our local hotels that we put them up for 2 weeks during Christmas holidays or for Thanksgiving holiday. If the dorms are closed, they go there. And that's outside of what campus does. We have some faculty members that they just take them home. They're family, so they just take them home. And so with all of this comprehensive wraparound services, we've been able to make a difference in the lives of these students. And I went back and I looked at the numbers of what you have started. Together, we have touched 2,000 lives. Together, we have sent on 2,000 foster youth who have come out from foster care to us and into the community and to society. For that, I'm eternally grateful. I'm incredibly thankful for everything you've done for us and for our students and for the citizens of Roseville. Thank you.
Blue Line Arts.
Hello, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Mary Tess Mayall. I'm the Co-Executive Director at Blue Line Arts. And first off, I'd just like to sincerely thank everyone on the Grants Commission for funding us. I'm a little bit different from the other funders today in that we were funded for facility upgrades, which were very much needed. So we used all of the funding to purchase and install 30 new track lights in the gallery to provide a much brighter experience for everyone who steps through our doors. We also purchased 100 new foldable chairs that actually have cushions, which we did not have for years and years. So now everyone we serve is very comfortable. We serve roughly 8,000 visitors per year, and we estimate about 65% of them are Roseville residents. Lighting and presentation is essential to sales conversions and helps support our role as a venue for artists of all skill levels to sell their work and present it in front of other people, which creates a sustainable creative economy. By the end of 2021, our art sales revenue had increased over our 5-year average by 102%, which was so exciting. And while this may be attributable to all of the new lights, we think that it's more than just lighting. Investments into our facility are a necessary part of our continued success going forward. The new cushion folding chairs have allowed us to completely replace all of our squeaky old chairs, which in and of themselves were becoming art projects after years and years of well-loved use. Now we've been able to expand to confidently provide more arts programming, lectures, meetings for local community groups, and even events benefiting charitable causes. As a result of this grant funding, we have increased the number of chairs by 20%. We've also increased our organization's capacity to proudly serve our community. We have completely eliminated all of the instances of poor lighting or poor seating, which we were getting way too many comments about. It was becoming embarrassing. So thank you so much for elevating our organization. We've also been able to maintain our rating of the best art gallery here in Roseville, Rockland, and Granite Bay. And we were able to see a 73% increase in our fee-based programming, which was huge. Equipment upgrades such as chairs and lights may seem very simple, but they allow our programs and services to remain high quality and competitive with for-profit businesses, which boosts the likelihood of visitors to choose and participate in our educational programming and arts experiences. So in conclusion, just thank you so much to the City of Roseville's Grant Commission for this investment in a vital community resource for us. Projects and upgrades like this are essential to helping Blue Line Arts deliver every program and continue to provide high-quality arts experiences to Roseville citizens for years to come. Thank you.
Stand-up plaster.
I don't think they're here. I don't see Louise.
See anybody? Well, hopefully they're not in a fire or evacuating either. Well, let's hope everybody's okay there. How about the Alliance?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Tiffany Leffler. I have the privilege of being the Executive Director of the Alliance. We are a network of nearly 60 different agencies, nonprofits, and community service organizations here in our community that are actively serving vulnerable kids and families. It's wonderful to be in this room tonight because Lighthouse Counseling and Child Advocates are part of the Alliance, along with 57 other local organizations that we partner with. The Alliance believes that every kid deserves to grow up in a safe, loving family, and that our entire community can get involved in making that a reality. So we serve current foster youth, former foster youth. We serve families that are at risk for homelessness or living below the poverty level. We serve refugee families coming into this region. We serve single parents, and we serve any child that's experienced trauma. And that doesn't mean just foster youth. It could be bullying in school. It could be the loss of a family member. It could be situations that are beyond their ability to cope, which we've all lived through a lot of those in the last 2.5 years. We saw the needs of this community escalate substantially with the pandemic because we recognize that relationships are what bind us together, and those happen best when they're in person. So even though we're 6 years old, this was actually the first grant cycle that we applied for any of the REACH funds, and it was an honor to be accepted. So thank you very much for making our Roseville office location a reality. We knew that we needed to get back to in-person as quickly as and safely as possible after the pandemic, because real collaboration between organizational leaders and real change in our community happens when people are together, or at least they have the ability to get together in virtual settings that have reliable internet and collaborative workspaces. So we had the vision to create an office that is a co-working space for all of our Alliance members and community at large. And this funds, the funds from this grant made that a reality. We actually got keys right as we found out we got funding. We had been searching for the right office space for about 6 months. We got keys June 1st of last year. We had our grand opening this time last year, and it's been wonderful. Several of you got to come and take a tour of our office, but everything is collaborative about it, from the front entryway where we highlight what all of our Alliance members are doing. So as community members stop by, they can see the amazing programs happening for youth and families that they could potentially donate to or volunteer with. We have collaborative office space with our conference room, and so we now have space for our Alliance members to host board meetings, trainings, and other work sessions. So 10 different Alliance members have hosted meetings in our conference space and used our office for their own board meetings, things or organizational growth. So it's been amazing to have that shared space. You're giving to us, and we're giving it right back to our community of Alliance members. Our staff also grew, so we knew that collaboration works best, again, when we have space and opportunities. So we gained 3 new staff members in the last year, and that was due in part to having office meetings that didn't happen in my backyard. So that was wonderful to have a dedicated space where we could look at the needs of vulnerable kids and families, we could access the resources that already exist in our community, and we could learn how to fill gaps accurately and effectively to meet the needs of even more vulnerable youth. That space also provided education. That was one of the big gaps when the Alliance started 6 years ago, was trauma-informed education for parents, caregivers, and volunteers. There's top-notch resources for counselors and therapists because that's their career path, but we know we need to all be trauma-informed to be living in the environments that we are in. And so the Alliance has stepped in that space in a large way. So we've hosted an annual childhood trauma conference. Our office space allowed that to be filmed last year and this year so we could offer content virtually. So we transformed our office into a film studio. So you helped provide trauma-informed resources last year to 122 families, this year to 230 families that are wanting trauma-informed education. We also have an online learning center that we launched as a result of having office space for filming. And so we have a whole arsenal of trauma courses that can be watched on demand. And we just recently this year filmed a course on multiracial families. So raising children that might be of different ethnicity than you, and that might be foster care or adoption. But we also recognize there's a lot of blended families in our community that are navigating multiracial family relationships. We also collect and distribute items to all of our Alliance members. They know the direct needs of their kids and families, like Katja and Dawn mentioned, like Gary mentioned. When they have needs, we want the community to know about them, and so we have an area needs database, and so we are a hub for donations. We want Roseville to be that hub of generosity. I know that was part of that whole fact-finding process, so what this grant commission could support. And so last year alone, we collected 10,247 items that served nearly 3,000 children right here in our region. Most of that goes through our office space before getting sent off to the agencies, nonprofits, and social workers who get to do the distribution. We're on track this year to meet over 15,000 needs. Again, that office has been a huge place where community members can come and bring items like backpacks, like first night supplies, like bedding for kids coming into foster care with nothing. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and from my team because you have made collaboration a reality. You have paid it forward to all of the organizations we partner with, and we are better able to support vulnerable youth and family here in Roseville and throughout the greater Sacramento region because of this grant. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. How lucky are we all to have such wonderful, passionate, and dedicated folks like yourselves to support the community and those that didn't come, too. I mean, that's just, it's so amazing, just amazing. We are so, so lucky. So thank you very much for coming tonight. I appreciate that. Do any of our commissioners have any other comments for the group?
Certainly. I'd like to say a few words. So the genesis to tonight's meeting was something that we did here as a commission a few years ago, which was commissioned a community needs assessment to make sure that the money would be doled out in an appropriate manner. One of the things was, part of that was a survey. And in that survey, it was asking the community what they knew about the grants that were available to the nonprofits that are working in the area, and surprisingly, nobody really knew about it. So this is one of the things, is to share what is going on in the community, what the nonprofits are doing, to be able to get this message out to the community in regards to the good work that's going on here. It was 30 years ago that Roseville sold the hospital. The leadership at that time decided to take those proceeds and put it into an account, gain interest on that, and then turn that money back into the community and the nonprofits that are doing work. In that 30 years, there have been millions of dollars that have been turned back into the community. And I know we talk about parks, we talk about utilities, we talk about all those things that make Roseville special. Having nonprofits that are doing that kind of work in our community and are being supported by revenue from that fund also is one of those things that makes Roseville a special place to be. And thank you for doing the work that you do, as well as being here to share what you're doing. And I anticipate that our September meeting we'll get more audience in the future as we continue this, and people look forward to seeing the great work that's going on in the community. So that's my 2 cents.
Bravo, and thank you, Commissioner Chris. No comment? Anybody else?
I do. For Sierra College, I had a question for you. How do you identify the kids that are eligible for your program?
Actually, when they register, there is an option for them to self-identify as a emancipated youth. Sometimes they tell us, we have a committee that gets together with the county as well as other groups in town, and they refer students to us. And sometimes the students who decide not to self-identify, they find out about the program. They find out and they come and check it out, and then quietly they come and tell us that they're foster youth.
That's pretty powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Blue Line, Mary Tess, I have to say, I remember reviewing that grant request, and, art is best seen in lights, so.
Yes, a dark gallery doesn't really sell
Pretty
art.
logical, so we're glad to hear that made an impact. So
Thank you.
Thanks for showing up tonight, and thank you all for all the good work you do in the community.
Thank you, Commissioner Perez.
I'll just add to that too. I wanted to say thank you to all of you for supporting our residents and in our county. I think you all kind of touched on the theme of resilience within your own agency and the people you serve. They wouldn't be able to have those benefits if we didn't have such giving community that continues to grow, just like our commissioner mentioned. And just, it's an honor to read all these applications after being here for a year and hearing you all. This is like the highlight, coming and seeing and meeting you all and hearing what you're accomplishing and how you're creating this to move forward despite all that. So thank you all for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that. Resilient, I think that's a strong term, especially during these past few years with COVID and all of that. But despite that, we've all, stayed together. We've continued the mission to be resilient and serve the community. So just continue to move forward. I'm really looking forward to the future of Roseville and Placer County, and to see all the hard work that our nonprofits will do. So that's just been so inspiring. And
how inspiring is that coming from one of our youth?
I just want to add, thank you all for all the hard work that you do. We know that there is a lot behind the scenes and a lot of heavy lifting. That's not the pretty stuff that ever gets to be shared. But in order for you to do what you do, there's a lot of I got to jump in and get it done, work that is done. And we just appreciate you doing that, for serving the folks that you serve. And tonight, you brought to light the one stone thrown into a pond and the multiple ripples that come out of that. And, the people that you're serving today, we never know where they're going to end up in the future, but we just know that that one person that's touched their lives has changed their trajectory for the rest of their lives. And I just want to sincerely thank you. It was a tough process. There was a lot of good programs that are in Roseville, and that just makes me proud to be able to serve and also to be a part of this community. So thank you so much. It truly is an honor to be in the room with you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Public comment?
Does staff have anything, or should we go for public comments?
Once staff is done. Oh, once the commission is done.
All right, are you guys?
I'm good.
Good. So let's open it up for public comments. Please introduce yourself.
Scott Albert, I live in the city. To run to another meeting, that's why I wanted to hurry up and speak first. But I want to thank you guys also. You do a tremendous job for our city. I know we put an extra burden on you by asking for you to not just give money to everybody who asks, but actually weigh the different causes, find out what's important in our city, and find the organizations that help meet those goals for our city. And I know it's a lot more work for you, and it's hard to choose and not choose some. but I appreciate what you do just as a resident. I think it's fantastic that you do a good job of looking after the dollars that we have to help these nonprofits, and that you make good choices that way. For the nonprofits that are in the room and the others that have received grants from the city, thank you so much for what you do. You make this a better place to live. You take care of the people that need the assistance that we don't normally reach through regular channels, and so it's just a fantastic partnership. And I know the council is just really proud to have you guys in the community and serving the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. I think we owe you a round of applause. Pauline, you want to join me? Sure. Scott, thank you for your kind words. Yeah. Bruce Howdelshelf, Vice Mayor for the City of Roseville, my colleague Scott Albert, my colleague Pauline Rakucci. Ed, you delivered my speech beautifully.
I know, you're great.
Parks, recreation, libraries, they talk about their contribution. But nonprofits are the heart of this city. And we heard it. What wonderful.
Aren't they?
God, I need to go to your Toastmasters clubs because you all with authenticity and passion, without a lot of ums like I just did, expressed your contributions, and it really lifts up the whole community. Because I was in a conversation the other night with someone who was involved in CASA, and she told me this beautiful story, and it was a circular story about someone she had worked with, and then finding that person's mom and how it all connected together. So thank you all for every one of you for what you do to encourage our nonprofits to succeed, to help them with funding, and thank you.
Just a comment. I actually had the honor to be on council when the city of Roseville sold Roseville Hospital.
Yes,
and
you were.
it started. And our forefathers even who decided to have a Roseville Hospital when there was no hospital. So we've had some really pioneers out there. And you're the new pioneers where we are now. And that we can do this because of the people who started even before I was there. And I want to thank you. And I don't know how I could keep a dry eye with all you guys. Like the light. That was important too, but it wasn't the little kid. Well, the little kid going to Blue Line Art Gallery, because I know they have programs for youth, especially in some of the affordable housing areas, and they bring them down there and they help introduce, so they do good things. And I really appreciate you having this opportunity for all of us to be here and to really see people in action, and that they watch this at home and can really experience this. I was impressed that there were so many different, I was familiar with CASA, but some of these other groups were new to me, and how they're doing a really wonderful job of knowing each other so that they're not overlapping, and they can actually add to programs that they don't, maybe someone doesn't have. So again, thank you up there, thank you here, and all the ones who weren't here, because you make Roseville the good city that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We close public comment? Everybody's. Yes. Okay, so we'll close public comment. And does staff have anything to report?
I just want to say, excuse me, one quick thing. I did a tiny bit of math, and to compliment Commissioner Kriz, since the CBF was instituted, they have put out over $17 million into the community.
It's good math. Thank you, everybody. If no one has any other input, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I, Commissioner Haywood, so move.
Commissioner Acosta seconds.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. It's another great meeting. See you next month.